has been revealed to me that you can be in this continent, yet you are not in Alkebulan. But you can be outside this continent and be in Alkebulan. Why? Pay attention. Does Alkebulan mean Africa? Does Africa mean Alkebulan? Why do I usually say the word Alkebulan? Pay attention. What I'm about to teach you is not what you can read from a book. What I'm about to teach you will open your mind. This video might be lengthy, but this video will open your eyes and change your mindset. You see, I have seen so many videos of so many people trying to prove correctness. Oh, the word Alkebulan came from here. The word Alkebulan is not indigenous to Africa, and so many things. Pay attention. I will teach you historically, and then I will teach you using divine revelation. Listen, make sure you watch this video to the end and make sure you share it, because the next generation must hear the voice of Alkebulan. Listen, they must hear the voice of the continent. You see, there are two kinds of people. You have historians, those who study history, documented accounts, tributaries of stories that went into the ocean of history documented. But then you have those whom history study. I take pride in telling you, I am among those that history is studying. That's not me blowing my trumpet. But if that is me blowing my trumpet, let it sound loud and clear and echo like the drums echoed in the ancient kingdoms of Congo. Because I've been empowered by divine. Pay attention. I have seen people say that Africa means Alkebulan. Alkebulan means Africa. No, Alkebulan does not mean Africa. Africa does not mean Alkebulan. But let me start by telling you something. One of the prolific writers in Africa who happens to be a Nigerian from the Igbo ethnic extraction, Chimamanda Adichie, she said that she is black, I am black, because the white man thought a color to differentiate me from his color. Differentiate me as much as possible, telling you that color was invented. Pay attention. She said that I am Nigerian because the British amalgamated Nigeria and exploited Nigeria and gave me that identity Nigerian. But I am Igbo before the white man came. So she is saying in essence that the only true identity of an African is his tribe, his nation. We are going somewhere. That is to say, everyone in this continent had something unique that they refer themselves at. The Ashantis, the Zulus, Kemite, Shanghai Empire, Mali, different civilizations, the Igbos and the rest of them, the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis. Pay attention. That is to say, there was no central name that the entire continent was called. Consensus. There is no historical evidence that one name was used to refer to the entire continent. Listen, even the name Africa was not used to refer to the entire continent. The name that we say, we are Africans, the entire continent was never called Africa. I am going to teach you. Because the first time that the name Africa was used, it was not used for the continent. No, it was used for a province. That is 146 BC. That is after the Roman Republic defeated the Carthaginian Empire. 146 BC. They defeated the Carthaginian Empire. The Carthaginian Empire is located in the present-day Tunisia. When they defeated it, they named a province the African province. That is a region in Tunisia. Now, what is the meaning of the word Africa? Let us look at the meaning. Remember, we are coming for Alkebulan. Now, Africa, from Latin, Afrik, that is sunny. From Greek, Frike, without cold. That is to say, the Romans looked. After they conquered Carthaginian Empire, they say, this is Africa. That is describing where they are, describing what they saw. A place without cold, a place with sun. That is a colonial name, a name that came from conquest. Because if Carthage was not defeated, the name Africa will not be born. So the Romans described their place. Just as when the British came, they called you Upper Volta, Gold Coast, Nigeria, naming you locations, South Africa, naming you locations. That is what the Romans did. Naming you from what they experienced, from what they perceived to be a place without code, a place with sun. A name coming from colonial conquest. Now, the word Alkebulan. So many historians have debated the origin of the word, but for the sake of argument, let's assume that the word Alkebulan, judging from the linguistic structure, Alkebulan, pointing to the sand civilization, the Arabs. Let us assume, for the sake of argument, that the word Alkebulan came from the Arabs. That is not the point. The point is, what does it communicate? What does it mean? What does it connote? What is the meaning of the word? The mother of mankind, the cradle of humanity, the beginning. That is to say, these people looked at you and said, this is a place of sunny, a place without cold. This one looked at you and said, this is Alkebulan, the beginning of mankind, the birthplace of human civilization, the cradle of humanity. Which of these names reflect who you are? The other came from colonial conquest. The other came from testimony of who you actually are, the manifestation of your greatness. If you stand a chance to choose a name that inspires your dignity as an indigenous son of this land, which one will you choose? The error that you are doing is that you are looking at who coined the name, forgetting the meaning of the name. You are looking at the form while we are looking at the intent. And you will say, town crier, but it is not indigenous. If it came from the Arab, it is not indigenous. Listen, I told you for the sake of argument, we accept it came from the Sand civilization, the Arabs. But listen, let me ask you a question. Don't you know, most of the names of the world know you for today were not originally from you. Most people you know with names today did not come from them. Europe came from the ancient Greek that is surrounding Europa. America did not come from indigenous Americans. No, the name America was made official in 1507. It was not an indigenous American. It was an Italian explorer. That is Amerigo Vespucci. He was an Italian explorer. They named him after the continent America. Amerigo Vespucci. Do you understand? Look at your Bible. Acts chapter 11 verse 26. The name you embrace today as Christians, it was not the apostles or disciples that called themselves Christians. No, it was a local population. People looked at them and said, these people are Christ-like people. Christ-like people. Apostles did not reject it. They embraced it. Why? Because the name reflected whom they actually are. Because it is a testimony that the people testify from what they saw. So if the Arabs look at you and said, hey, this is Alkebulan, the beginning of mankind, the cradle of humanity, a name that testifies and pontificates whom you actually are. If you stand a chance to choose, why will you reject that one and accept a name that says that, yeah, it's a place of sunny and a place without cold? You have answered the name Africa for 2,171 years. You didn't question it. You took it, you embraced it, even when it is derogatory coming from conquest. You embraced it. And now someone says that you are the beginning. All you are interested is, where does it come from? What does it connote? What does it communicate? Does it inspire greatness? It does. It does inspire greatness. It does inspire greatness. You embrace Christianity. You embrace the name Christians. It was not given by the apostles. It was people that looked and testified. Most of the name that people answer, people testify. So if they testify that we are the cradle of humanity, it was not revealed to them by man. No, it is divine orchestration. But listen, another meaning have come. What I just told you is historically known. Some people make mistake. They say the name Africa came from the Roman general Scipio Africanus. No, you are wrong. The name Scipio Africanus is a title. He gained the name in 202 BC. The name Africa, the Romans gave to that region. That region, remember, the name Africa was not really for the entire continent. It was for a region in where you know today as Tunisia, that is part of Carthaginian Empire, before it was now widely spread to be known as the entire continent. Follow me carefully. The man that you are mistaken that it was his name that they named the continent, Scipio Africanus, no. That was the title after he defeated Hannibal at the Battle of Zama, 202 BC. Do you understand? I've given you an example. America was not indigenous to Americans. It is Amerigo Vespucci, born in 1452. And then the name was given in 1507. Now, let me give you a divine revelation. Because the town crier does nothing in vain. You can read things from book. I take from revelation. It has been revealed to me that you can be in this continent, yet you are not in Alkebulan. But you can be outside this continent and be in Alkebulan. Why? Pay attention. Alkebulan, in the present day reality, is no longer a location. It is no longer a place you can say, let me go to the place called Alkebulan. No. Kwame Nkrumah said that you are not an African because you were born in Africa, but because Africa was born in you. That is to say, one of our own, born in Europe, can still be part of us. Now, the term Alkebulan has changed from just being a name referred to as a geographical location to being a conscious mind, to being a place. Alkebulan is no longer a location. It is a state of mindset, a consciousness that you know who you are, that you are the beginning, the origin of humanity, the origin of civilization, the cradle of mankind. So Alkebulan becomes ownership, becomes a pride, dignity. That is why if you pay attention, when you comment and say, town crier, I am sending you love from Nigeria. I tell you, I am sending you love from Alkebulan. You say, town crier, I send you love from Cameroon. I send you love from Ethiopia. I said, I send you love from Alkebulan. Because why? To me, Alkebulan is no longer a geographical location. It is a consciousness that I know that I am the cradle of humanity. I am the pride. I am the origin. I am the source. A testimony that someone looked at me and called me. That is where I am. So Alkebulan is not just a location. It is a state of mind. A state of mind. So you must understand that. That is a revelation. You can't see it from a book. So someone might not be in this space and be in Alkebulan. So instead of you focusing on the linguistic origin of the word, instead of focusing on the linguistic root of the word, who coined the word, focus on what does the word communicate? What does it mean? Does it inspire? Does it promote you? Or does it reflect that you are nothing, but you are something? So don't join the bandwagon, because the tongue crier does not seek validation. The tongue crier knows, and he knows that he knows. That's why the philosopher said, he who does not know and does not know he does not know is a fool. Run away from him. He who does not know and know he does not know is a child. Teach him. He who knows but does not know he does not know is asleep. Wake him. But he who knows and know that he knows is a wise man. Follow him. The tongue crier knows, he knows that he knows. And that's why I want to end that debate once and for all. Where does it come from? This and that. No. What does it communicate? Most of the word you bear today, most of the names you answer today was not given to you by you. No, it was people that looked to you and testified who you are. And if somebody testified and called you Africa, meaning Sonny, without code, and you have bear that name for 2,171 years, why will you not embrace the one that someone looked at you and say, you are the cradle of humanity, the beginning of mankind? That does not mean that you are not still Ashanti or Zulu or Ghana or Yoruba or Hausa or Fulani or Igbo. No, that is your identity, the true authentication of who you are. But what name will you call the continent? Should we coin the name from Zulu? What happened to Ethiopians? You call it from Ethiopia. What happened to the Yoruba? So we take a testimony. That is, if we are to take from the linguistic structure of the pattern of the word that it came from the San civilization. The cocoa is that what does it communicate, not where does it come from. It doesn't matter who gave you. What matters, what does it mean? Alkebulan. The voice of the continent has spoken as it was revealed to me. Thank you for all those who contribute to our book foundation. Those who are still contributing, I appreciate you. Okay? We are moving to share books very soon. Okay? But you must understand, not everything can be written. Some of us, history study us. We gain this thing from above. Wisdom, my people. Wisdom, Alkebulan. The principal thing.